Stream. Why not? I guess it's better to not show your whole screen, right? Because then you can have the little StreamYard thing open separately and not worry about it. Stop screen. Just me and my green screen that I cannot figure out how to remove the back of. Pretty weird. Guess I'll share again. Present, share screen. Just the window, I guess. But just this window. Add it to the stage. Put me on top of it, right? But if it's wider, will I go over top of it? Hell yeah. Isn't that silly with the green screen? It's so small anyway. How do you make it bigger? I don't even know. But I guess it's better that you're not looking at my stupid desktop and stuff. And like StreamYard itself really begs for having multiple monitors, doesn't it? Well, yeah. I'm just going to go for it, I guess. My goal is 0 viewers. Doesn't even matter. I guess I should blog it. I guess I can continue futzing with this, but there's literally 0 people in here. Is it too dark green is the main problem. It's like if I turn on a virtual background, it's like I don't even see a guy in that photo, not even a little bit. But maybe if I open my Elgato thing, zoom out, is that helpful somehow? Not exactly green screen useful if it's fucking, you can see my plant in the background. I like my chair go. Maybe I should just stand up. Yeah, seems fine. How light? Green screen. I green screened it, and it's not green yet. All right, whatever. My goal with this is I'm using the new CodePen editor, CodePen 2.0 editor. It's barely in private beta. But the idea is it'd be nice to show off some of the features of it, not just through the stream, but by building templates. So it's just on my kind of like forever to-do list to make little nice templates for it that use different technologies and stuff, and just see what we can accomplish here. So if you're in the private beta, if you're not in the private beta, feel free to kind of email me or get in touch somehow, and I can get you invited to it probably. This is the new beta editor that has just a zillion new features to talk about, but it kind of starts with some hello world stuff. And if I make this a template, I'll save it under my own account for now, even though we have a special CodePen templates team. If this ends up any good, we'll move it over to that team. But I can turn this into a template. The 3 dots is the kind of the pen settings. And then it says use template for me, but if you were looking at this pen, it would say use template for you too, just a bit of new UI to get you started with templates more. And we want to make templates kind of a bigger deal. I'm going to call this personal portfolio one-page template. It's just to make just a one-pager that somebody could grab in case that's the kind of website they were trying to build. We'll build it. I was just poking around at Dribbble to see if we could find one. This one looks kind of neat with just a giant title at the top, the person's name and stuff. I kind of like websites like this. First of all, it's really just clean and clear. And it looks like they have other Dribbble shots that we could just be inspired from and make it just a big scrolling page with some of this stuff. We won't copy it exactly, but maybe we will copy some of it exactly. And of course, we'll leave credit for it and stuff, but it looks like it's kind of public information there to some degree. So that was kind of my goal today, is like just get started with this and try to figure out how to do a green screen. But apparently it's just going to be green in the freaking corner and not make it like, wouldn't transparent be nice down there? Maybe? No, don't know. So, okay, so whatever. We could start with some HTML from the Dribbble. Oh no, back. I wanted this one. It has very little. Do you kind of like the gray bar at the way top? We could just go site header. We could have a nav.site header. See, Emmet still works in there nicely. And of course it had a link to Dribbble and Twitter. We could probably do something like Mastodon and CodePen. And kind of maybe deal with that later. And then this big area at the top, probably just a div for the name and the person. What would you call that kind of thing? Div dot, is it a section? Probably not section worthy. I don't know. It's weird to say person's name when it's your portfolio. I'm just going to say name. And then there's kind of an avatar situation. That'll probably have an IMG tag in it, and then the person's name, which maybe that we could make a title. Would that be the H1 of the page, though? What's the H1 when you're looking at a design like that? The H1 is maybe freelance designer, but if that feels weird to me, maybe we don't need a selector at all in here because .name handles it. Fine. Let's clear out this CSS for now. I do kind of like the fact that it's dark mode ready, but we probably don't need the grid stuff on it just yet. Maybe not the height, not really relevant in this situation. And otherwise, close this file. We're definitely not writing any JavaScript yet. I don't know that we will at all. I don't see a ton on here that calls for it. Sometimes the thing that ends up calling for it on a really simple site like this is just the, like if there's navigation that can collapse into a expandable navigation. That might be kind of fun to build with like a popover API in HTML, but I don't really see a ton of navigation on this yet. Again, we're just being inspired by this. We can switch it up and do our own thing if we wanted more navigation. By the time you get to like 4 or 5 links, I feel like it is kind of begging for a mobile navigation situation. And then it says freelance designer really big. Let's copy that. Are we considering, where do we call it the main content area? Are we still in the site header here? No, that's the site header, which I think we'll leave. This is kind of like a hero, but it's all text. Kind of fine. And then where's main? I think main does start there. I think we should even move what we have into main. And then we'll use freelance designer here. Freelance designer. I'm already feeling the kind of the need to have prettier involved here. I think you can right click and just say format this file and it will do a one-off with prettier. That's awfully nice, right? But if we wanted to have it on save every single time we add in CodePen, now we're calling blocks, you'd just add the prettier block to it, which we configure to our own needs if we'd like. But now if I, like, for example, tabbed this way in and hit save, it'll move it back for me once prettier formats it. So then I don't have to forget. I can just hit Command S and it will format for me. And then this, I help at, you know, I kind of like the text here. Can we get Mac OS X to to do this. If I say save image as and put it on my desktop, you won't be able to see it because I'm only sharing my screen. But if I open it in like preview, then text recognition will kick in and I'll just be able to paste it. P, how did it do? Very well, actually. So we're stealing that. Let's make sure, I'm going to copy the link to this, that we at least have, we'll say add description, pen design inspiration from, and have a link to that. And we'll say portfolio. I don't know, that's probably good enough for now. Save our work. Okay, so how far did we get there? Now we have two. Would you call these both buttons, or is this a button and this not a button? That's definitely a button. And it feels like because they're right next to each other, we should treat them both as buttons, but I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do. I think I might just call this one a button, like angle bracket button, even though even it's not really a button, because look, it's an email address, which begs for just an anchor link with a mail to attribute in it. And this is just a link that will push you down the page. So they're both just anchor links. But one of them has a class of button and one of them doesn't. Yeah, fair enough, I guess. So there'll be two things here. One of them is a mail to, you know, I'll just put my own address in there. But that one is like button-like, right? So class is button, we'll make available. And one of these is not. And what does it say? It just says see design work and has the cool down arrow. So see design work. And then it would be later on, it would be like section.design work. And that would link to that. Oh, the ID really would be design work too. Design work. And this links to design work. And how are we going to get that arrow in there? Is there a nice Unicode for it? Is there a nice icon? We make icons available here in the editor. Ooh, this down one is kind of fine, isn't it? It's pretty thick, boy. But maybe that's fine for now. We'll plop that SVG in there. If we hit save, that should prettier up. Okay, yeah, nice. So it's going to be big. I hate to have that be the first thing we write CSS for, but I find it terribly annoying, so we probably should. Let's go back to CSS, and I'll drag a new editor down here for it. And do we need a special class for that? This kind of button that's not... I don't know. I think we do. I'm just going to say button and then button invis or something, so it doesn't have a background. So buttons generally have... I don't know. Let's not deal with that. Invis. But this has both classes, right? So if we do put... We see the SVG inside it, but we kind of need the circle around the SVG, so we need a... Or do we? I don't know that it needs a title. It kind of doesn't even need to be like clicked or selected or anything. Let's just put the border around it. One pick solid, I don't know, gray for a second while we're figuring it out. Border radius, I don't know, a lot. So it becomes a circle. Aspect ratio 1. Is that enough to force it into a circle? Yeah. We'll fill it with that same gray, but then say that the like inline size of it is only, I don't know, 1.2 rems or something, not too much bigger than the text itself. And then are all buttons like inline flex maybe? Display inline flex. My goal there is that the button should be like kind of centerable. So if we say a line item center on it, that should bring that in line with C design work better, which it did, which is nice. Then we can put gap on it to push them away, pretty good. And then maybe if this one has button and viz, this one can be like button filled or something. So button filled is the one that has an actual background on it, which is white on orange, which I would worry is not particularly accessible. Background is that. I'm just going to roll with OKLSLH. Let's say color white, and let's see what DevTools has to say about about that color contrast. Won't DevTools tell us if that's bad? It has both color, it has both things. So if we say maybe it's the color that matters the most. I feel like it used to say, is there something you have to turn on? If you're looking at the color, there used to be like a check mark or something in here that was like, that's accessible. Maybe it's only if it's not OKLCH. I feel like I noticed that bug at one time. If we made this like orange, then checked it, will it be in there? No, no contrast information available. Why not? On background orange, color white, you're like, I can't figure that out. Why? I don't know. We could look up something. We should. I'll just put it as a to do in here, like to do fix contrast. Just like pick a better color or something. Now, should the text should there ever be underlines on a button? Maybe not. We'll say text decoration none. Yeah, that'll pull the underline off it. Interesting how amazingly unaligned they are. We could align them if we wrapped them in like some kind of something to style them with. I feel like it begs for that almost. I'm going to Command-Shift-A, which is wrap with abbreviation from Emmet. So we could say like actions or something. Hit save. So our two buttons are next to each other that are inline flex, but actions is display flex perhaps. I don't care that that won't wrap. I'm not sure we need it to wrap at the moment, but look, they have immediately aligned themselves with each other, which is nice. So only button filled is the one at the moment that needs the padding. Let's see how that goes. So maybe like that, maybe. Border radius again. What happens if we crank that up? Is it just the edges that round? Yeah, I think that's what we want. A little awkward how you have to do that, but I don't like picking like 40 pixels or something. Like if it just gets a little big, then it's not doing the thing that I want it to do. So how wide is a display flex thing? Does it fill the whole thing? If I just say justify content center, will it put them in the middle? How the design is? Yeah. Gap 1 rem. And then what's the color of the text on this? Is that same orange? I just don't think that color works very well on light. It's probably better on dark here. But we'll just make the color this, which we could probably set up custom properties for. So we'll say color, and then we could do like a to-do, you know, if we use this color a lot, make a custom property a lot. Save. So we have that part going on just fine, making good progress there. And then we'd put these 3 images. It's interesting how cut off they are. I wonder if is that trying to say, oh, this is, you know, a little bit scrollable? Does that imply a slider, or is it just like that's the crop on it? It's obviously not. We'll never know what the intention was here exactly. I'm not sure I'm up for making a, you know, a click slider thing right now, although it'd be interesting to play with native CSS carousels in there just as an excuse, because why not? You could let's assume that it's not for now and then come back around for it at some point during a stream. I think that would be kind of fun. But for now, we really just need 3 images that fit below this. So we'll just be like images. I think that's kind of fine. And then we'll have the, like, how do you even search for those type of photos for like some dude leaning on a brick wall, dude leaning on wall. That was kind of the vibe. I guess I could put photos of myself in there. Was dude the wrong word to use? Oh yeah, dude. This guy's hardcore leaning against a wall. Let's copy the small version of him and pluck that in there. And it's still going to render pretty big. I do small because I always want to remember what the URL parameter for Unsplash is for small. We'd probably juice that up to much bigger. And then what? Like, should we have cropped this? We could download it and crop it and stuff, because I do kind of want it to be more vertically like this is. And not horizontal, or we could just look for a vertical image so we're wasting less space. But for now, let's leave it alone. So if we're writing CSS, we have images on any given image. I guess they're all We should make them all display block. That's always awkward when you don't do that. Let's say their max inline size for now is, 300 pixels or something, so I can see this, see what's going on here. What we want to do on this first image, and maybe we should just do them, I don't know if that's appropriate, but I'm just selecting the first one now, and we're going to have 3, so 1, 2, 3. This first one, we want an aspect ratio that's the opposite of what it is now. So aspect ratio of like 2/1. Do I have that right? No, the exact opposite of that, 1/2. And it'll squish it, but then you can say object fit, whatever, cover. But then it's going to be all cut off. Is it cut off in a cool spot, or do we want to move it? How do you do that again? How do you move an image? Is it object CSS object dash placement or position? Is that real? Object position? Yeah, it is. All right, let's just play with it. Object position. So if we went right center, it's going to move Duder way over. We don't really want that. Will it accept right like 100 pixels, like background images? No, I think that rejected that, right? Yeah, that's got a yellow squiggly here in DevTools, so that's not cool. What is 100 pixels? 100 pixels. I don't read the docs. I just play. It pushes it that way. So negative would pull it the other way. Oh, sort of, kind of. I think this is all I want for now. Maybe we will read the docs just a little bit though. So it's, we could do percentages. But how do you do it does take that syntax. But you have to provide them both. And I was just providing one. That was the problem. So when I said right 100 pixels, you'd go center 0? Or do you have to put the number first? 100 pix right, 0 center. It doesn't like that either. Can I copy one of these? Are you correct? And we say 100 pixels. No, negative 100. That's kind of cool. So it does have that value. I don't even know what I was doing wrong exactly. Maybe center is the wrong keyword to be messing with there. Object position. Good comment, Shaw. I didn't see it until too late, but now it's correct. All right, that's fun. So more images. Like what's the vibe of these ones? Guy with back turned, fake typing, looking at typography poster. I don't know. That is probably from Unsplash anyway, but the chances of us finding it are probably pretty low. Be like, man facing wall with nice sweater. No dice, huh? Do we like bicycle guy? Seymour. We could spend the whole stream just unsplashing. What? Design man. We're looking for the espresso shot. I don't even know. I'm already bored of looking. So we'll just put one more in for now. These deserve alt text, of course. But this second one, the point is now that we only targeted this very first one, this second one could have a totally different vibe going on where it's the horizontal one. So maybe it's 16 by 9 with not a colon. The images need to be display flex, so they're hanging out together. Sure, except for that it's really 9 by 16. Maybe the world needs to start saying that instead of it's 16 by 9. YouTube is 16 by 9. It's not. It's 9 by 16 apparently. No, that's not right either. Why is that being weird? It is 16 by 9. The second image in images. Is it the flex box that's messing with it? Or this? It's only, yeah, that's probably what it is. You don't need that. Cover could go up to all images. Maybe it's align items center means that it won't force them to be stretch, which is the default. Yeah, that's what it is. So the max inline size should just be for that first one, and then this will blow out to the side and all that. Yeah, cool. Whatever. It's probably more interesting to set the same height on all the images. So like block size is some number. Although that's going to mess up the aspect ratio. Not really. That's kind of cool. Anyway, so this is what we're working towards. Let me just do a few more minutes on the type, because I thought that was kind of interesting. They're like, that's like the perfect font for this, I feel like. And I'm sure smart font people know exactly what that is. I do not. I probably already own 5 fonts that look like that, but I can't help myself when I'm looking at stuff like that. I'm like, I'm going to get that one exactly. So like, what would you call that? Font recognition? Font finder. Here you go. Tell me what it is. It's Helvetica, actually. Maybe it is Helvetica. I don't even know. I'd show you my type tool, or maybe it's Europa Grotesque number 2 SH. Is that free? My Fonts, which is the creator of that tool, wants to sell it for $26, which means it's probably not free. Free font download gives me this is probably illegal vibes. And there's a button here that probably does something gross to my computer. I don't know. I just don't trust it. This is probably the actual foundry that it's from, but it's at the same price, so that's kind of good. Anything that's just like free, free, free is probably not right. Sometimes it's cool to check Dafont. Oh, that's funny. Like Dafont.com is like the real Dafont, right? Which is easy to make fun of, but is ultimately like kind of a legit site, I think, despite it having lots of like really cheesy fonts on it. Whereas Dafont.style is maybe less. It's trying to look like Dafont, but isn't really Dafont. Well, it was happy to give me a copy of it. I'll be hesitant to use this on our actual real template that we distribute to the world, but it actually looks like the real font. You know, legality questioned, perhaps. Convert OTF to WAF to. No, not that. Oop. WAF to converter. OTF. Oh, I gave it the zip file instead. Oops. Download. Looks cute, might delete later. So I have access to my assets in here in the same area. Copy URL. And then I need an @FontFace block for this, which is often found at the top of source. @FontFace. Just give me a block. Like, just do it. Is that all it takes these days? Somehow I don't want MDN's version. I want the easiest one in the world. Okay, whatever. It is that easy, apparently. These days, WAF 2 is all it takes. Europa Grotesque. And it's at this URL that I copied somewhere. Yeah. So if we make that H1 that should just go, depending on font weight and stuff. But the weight, it almost looked like a one weight pony there, didn't it? I see that it's called bold. So we may need to set bold, we may not to. Will that go? Oh God, it worked just fine. To do, check legality, mark as private, because that seems like possibly a paid font. Private, save. Maybe we'll not make it a template for a minute. That's cool though. And then how big do we want it? Font size, you could do like just viewport units or something for now. 10V width. Make it really big, but then it kind of squishes with the size. Kind of cool. Text align center. So we did some work on this. I think it would be fun to kind of finish this one out, put some more cool features on it and stuff, and kind of just make it a template available for someone who wants to just have a starting place and then start messing with it. Other things we can, there's a million things we could do here, but we can lean into some of the technology of the new CodePen as well, adding more technology. Do you want to write in Sass? We can do that. It might be nice to split up the CSS files and be like, this is the CSS for the slider or something. Maybe we could make the slider into a web component. Maybe we could bust out the individual parts of the file with nunjucks, so we don't have to, if it ended up being a 2-page site there. But sometimes it's nice just to break up, put the navigation in its own file and stuff like that. So that kind of stuff is available on the new CodePen. I'm going to hop off here, but if you want to access to this beta, feel free to get in touch and we will do that. Thanks for listening for half an hour. Hope maybe I can do this a lot of days.